really know what went on behind closed doors, but I mean, the royal family, you know what you're getting into. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like a rite of passage with British people, but like when you join the royal family, it is like you are completely just ridiculed in the public. It's not personal. It's just like what they do.
You just confessed that you're fine with a woman getting bullied, as long as it entertains you while it's happening. Why are you normalizing abuse? You said that's just what they do. Like abuse is a national sport. You're so desensitized to cruelty that you mistake survival for weakness. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, didn't crumble. She exposed the rot and walked out untouched. That takes strength.
She just keeps doubling down instead of just like making fun of herself, admitting that sometimes she seems a little too like pretentious or like she's faking it. It would be so funny if she would just join in on the people that are making fun of her.
Why can't she make fun of herself? Because she's not your clown or anyone's clown. She doesn't owe you punchline to justify her existence. If you want to be the clown in someone's story, by all means, go ahead. That's your choice. You're already the clown in this narrative. And you call her inauthentic because she's smarter, prettier, richer, and freer than you. She's Loro Piana. She's Balenciaga. She's elevated. She's aspirational. You're the clearance rack at Walmart. You say she couldn't handle it. No, she handled it by surviving it, by walking away, by building an empire, by building a life that's peaceful, where Prince Harry and her have full control. And that's what they meant by privacy. They control what people see about them. We all want that control. We all want that privacy. The world isn't owed free access to their lives or ours. And please, spare us the "if I were her publicist" fantasy. You couldn't even manage basic compassion. What makes you think you could manage a global icon? Sit 10 seats down.
I don't really know.
Prince Andrew's PR playbook just fell out of his pocket, and it's ugly. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir says Andrew's team tried to hire internet trolls to hassle her while he ducked accountability behind palace gates. The Independent corroborates the same claim from the book. Andrew's legal operation went so far as exploiting paid online harassment as a tactic against a woman, accusing him of SA. Listen to that again. Paid trolling as a legal strategy. This is the pattern. Evade, smear, and outsource the cruelty. When the facts won't defend you, flood the zone with abuse until the truth can't breathe. Giuffre writes that while Andrew's side casts doubt on her credibility, they were actively trying to weaponize the internet against her. That sounds familiar. Now, connect the dots. If Andrew's team was shopping for online trolls, he didn't invent that in a vacuum. He's the product of a system, the firm, that has always preferred perception management over transparency. And while there's no public document proving the palace itself commissioned troll farms against Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, credible analysis have shown a coordinated hate network has targeted her for years. Bot Sentinel's work, covered by major outlets, found that 70% of the hostile content about Meghan on social media originated from 83 accounts, amplifying each other in a manufactured echo chamber. So ask the obvious question. Who benefits when a smear machine revs up against Meghan? Not the public, not the truth, certainly not the targets. The beneficiaries are the same actors who need a distraction when scandals like Andrew's erupts. Whether the palace cuts checks or merely looked the other way, the effect is identical. Coordinated hostility used as cover and counter-programming. Giuffre's account also reminds us, these tactics don't stay online. They bleed into real life, into police reviews, into settlement optics, into reputational warfare that punishes survivors and shields power. That's why this matters beyond royal gossip. Here's the takeaway. Andrew's alleged troll shopping isn't a one-off. It's a window into how power protects itself. And it mirrors the long-running, well-documented, coordinated online hostility towards Meghan. which media has reported since 2021. You don't need a leaked invoice to recognize a signature move. Drown a woman's credibility in noise, then claim the controversy is her fault. We see the play. We're naming it. And we're not pretending it's anything other than strategic abuse in the guise of PR.
Truth by creating an incentive for untruth. Far from caring about the harmful effects of algorithms, the social media companies and their allies stroke competitors in the press rely on them, I think, to make money. I see three main problems. First, the marketing of hatred. The case of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle forcefully makes the point. The data analyst's bot Sentinel looked at 114,000 Twitter posts about the couple since January 2020 and found two things. Firstly, that 55 accounts had been set up solely to post negative material about them, and 28 more accounts had been set up to amplify those messages. And secondly, that the Twitter algorithm, which suggests people you might want to follow, urged someone who had viewed one hate account or message to follow several others. These 83 accounts were responsible for 70% of the negative content targeted on the couple. One account posted 111,031 messages about them. Bot Sentinel reckons there are 264 single-purpose hate accounts solely targeting Harry and Meghan. To the innocent bystander, it looks like the whole world hates Harry and Meghan. No, there we are. But this is not just ordinary, spontaneous or altruistic hatred. It is deliberate and coordinated. It uses social media recommender systems to amplify hatred. Like all clickbait, it uses hatred to entice people to follow a link to an article on another client web page where money is to be made, which is how it knowingly monetizes hatred, as shown by the network of YouTube channels that notched up 497 million views and $3.48 million on the back of hateful and inaccurate material about Meghan alone. 3 YouTube channels, Yankee Wally, Murky Meg, and according to Taz, had more than 70 million views and earned $494,730, all on the back of hatred of Meghan. The same goes for UK newspapers that fill their online sites with hateful Meghan material. It is becoming their richest clickbait scene, apart perhaps from the sidebar of shame on Mail Online. It drives viewing and earns advertising income, which is why so many British opinion writers pen so much drivel about the couple, not because the story matters, it doesn't, not because the writer genuinely cares about it, they don't, but because it makes money. That is not journalism. It's a perversion of journalism. And yet again, it means that the press see other people's lives as commodities to be traded.
I think it's really interesting how Buckingham Palace are painting this as, he allowing Prince Andrew to make that statement, saying that allowing all the press to say, yes, he's been stripped, when actually he hasn't really. Because let's be very clear about this, Ben. Were the royal family, were the king to really want to send a message that members of the family are not allowed to behave even though they behave like this, even though they deny it, they could let it be known, and it does have to come from the top. It has to come from the monarch. They have to let it be known to the government of the day that they would like this dukedom to be stripped of this particular individual. And as I understand it from my sources in government, it would pass within a day. It's a very, very easy mechanism to enact. So this line from Buckingham Palace that, the king doesn't want to take up Parliament's time and doesn't want to cause any fuss is a smokescreen, because actually it could be done very easily instead. The Prince title is a bit more tricky. That's because in 1917, George V issued letters patent which said that any son or daughter or any grandchild through the male line of the monarch is a prince or a princess. I suspect that King William V might issue new letters patent to really restrict those titles, which would take away Prince Andrew's title to stroke.
This is Royal Lodge, where Andrew is holed up, trying to keep away from prying eyes of the world, whilst he is facing mounting accusations of criminality, obviously the sexual offences going back 25 years, and also now accusations of trying to corrupt a police officer, and accusations made in Andrew Lanley's book about misconduct in public office when he was trade envoy. Now, the debate raging at the moment in the media is all about whether or not he should lose his titles, which is quite frankly an offensive debate when he should be faced with criminal investigation. At the very least, the police should be not protecting him at the gates here, but instead arresting him, taking him to a police station and questioning him under caution. And given the mounting evidence, there should be a high likelihood of that leading to prosecution. That's not happening, and we're hearing stuff about, oh, should he lose his Duke title, which he's not lost? Should he not be allowed to go to the coronation, which is clearly absurd as a punishment for sexual offences if he's guilty of those. So, we need to change the tune and change the debate, and the guy now hiding away in here needs to be taken down to the station, interviewed, and hopefully charged and facing serious consequences. And meanwhile, his brother and his nephew need to face consequences for the clear cover-up, the constant efforts to protect Andrew from scrutiny so that they can protect themselves from any kind of blowback. Because all of this has been about rich and powerful men protecting themselves by putting distance between other rich and powerful men who are accused of the most horrendous crimes. So it's time to get rid of this lot altogether. And to do that, we need to start pushing for proper accountability for serious accusations of criminality.
There is something that perhaps is more germane, though, to the realm of politics, which is, of course, where the money came from, the £12 million that's been reported, that was paid to Virginia Giuffre and her family. Rachel Maskell, your parliamentary colleague, says there needs to be much more clarity regarding that payment and where it came from and how the royal family funded it. Would you agree with that?
Look, I don't know the details of this payment or
no one does. That's the problem.
Where it came from.
Would you not think, Energy Secretary, that the public might have a right to know if any public money went to fund that payment? Because there have been long-standing rumours that the late Queen partly funded that settlement with private income from the Duchy of Lancaster, a property portfolio that has been controlled, as you know, by reigning monarchs since medieval times, but on some level basically belongs to the public. Do you not think that the public have a right to know?
Look, I think as much information as can be provided is always a good thing, Lewis. I guess what I'm just saying is that this goes well beyond the financial question. This goes much more, for me, to the frankly horrendous situation of Jeffrey Epstein and what happened with him and what happened to the victim.
But more transparency would be a good thing, you agree?
Sure.
If William and Kate are trying to break the cycle between the heir and the spare, then they agree that there is a cycle of abuse that needs to be broken, which is interesting because when Prince Harry wrote in his book, literally titled Spare, they accuse him of lying and making things up for attention. When in fact, we know from history, many, many years of history, that they have always put down the spare in order to let the heir rise up. That is how they treated Margaret, who was Elizabeth's younger sister. She was actually quite charming, but they kind of pushed her to the back so that Elizabeth would not be overshadowed by her younger sister. Now, in this case, they are saying that these two will break the heir and the spare rules because George is a boy and Charlotte is a girl. When, again, in history, Margaret and Elizabeth were both women as well, so it's the same thing. And it just goes to show you that everybody is actually aware of how they treat the spare. And Harry was correct in everything he has said, that the media tries to portray him as dumber, meaner, worse off than he actually is, so that William's shortcomings will not be as noticeable. The cycle is currently happening with this generation, and I do hope they break it for these younger kids. But considering they're already writing about these two and the way that they write about the third, Louis, it doesn't seem like the media is going to break that cycle themselves.
The UK tabloids keep saying that Duchess Meghan is irrelevant, but yet she's booked and busy at all these events that they wish they were invited to. Because apparently irrelevant means front row at Paris Fashion Week and the guest of honor at Emma Greed's table. In the past few weeks, Duchess Meghan has been seen in Paris Fashion Week at Balenciaga's show. She's been in New York speaking on panels at major events. And last night, she was the guest of honor at Emma Greed's seat at the table. So is it irrelevance or is it access? The narrative in the UK is that she's faded into obscurity. However, what's really true is that she stopped performing for people who never rooted for her in the first place. It has moved from headlines to high society, and honestly, that's a different kind of visibility, one that they can't even wrap their minds around. It's not that Meghan has disappeared, it's that she's existing where her critics can't reach her. And nothing makes people more angry than a woman who thrives when you thought you broke her. So if this is irrelevance, honey, sign me right up. I'm Michaela Ian, and that's the Culture Take.
Yeah, we need to talk about Kelly Rowland really quick. For real. Like, what? Do you guys realize, like, something? Like, so Kelly is 45 years old, you guys. That woman is 45 years old. Let me say that again. She is 45.
Current trend that's happening right now between, who looks younger between white women and black women. You already know, black women goddesses, okay? Beautiful, gorgeous, look young, fountain of youth. The white women, crypt keeper, Rodney Dangerfield looking at. Y'all just need to just stop, okay? You're not going to win this one, okay? Just stop. Just throw the white flag.
A lot of people said that at the time, the Queen, the late Queen, who was universally beloved, regardless of whether you were a royalist or not, couldn't have really known the full details of what Prince Andrew was accused of and some of his behaviour, the worst behaviour and the excesses we talked about before. I wonder, there were aspects of the book that you might have been surprised by. Was the level of the Queen's knowledge, the late Queen's knowledge, something that did shock you a little bit?
It did. It shocked me enormously. It's not what I expected. We'd always assumed she'd put the monarchy ahead of her family. And I assumed to start with that she was just putting her head in the sand, an old woman didn't really want to know. But it became increasingly clear that reports were made to her about her son by senior diplomats, by politicians, and she ignored them. In fact, I have a story from intelligence sources of complaints about him basically taking bribes. And this was reported to the Queen, and she didn't want to know.
That is a huge story.
It is shocking because it's not the behaviour we expected of her or indeed anyone in that position. But this is what she did. I mean, every time he was quoted in some new scandal, she'd give him a new honour, or she would, show her support by asking him to walk her to her seat or sit beside him in the car.
So sort of royal washing in terms of sort of reputation changing the story in some way. But there's also some suggestion that he, as you call.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God.
Officially, though, he will still retain the dukedom. It could be removed by an act of parliament. Would you support legislation to do that?
We're going to be guided by the royal family and His Majesty the King
but on
this.
a personal level, would you support legislation to remove his dukedom?
I think it's right that he's relinquishing the title. So I think that's
You're evading my question.
No, I'm not evading that question.
Would you support any legislation?
I think we'll be guided by the royal family on this as to whether. I think the royal family have said that they didn't want to take up parliamentary time with this. And there are lots of other things that Parliament is discussing. I think it's right he's given up his titles.
Truth by creating an incentive for untruth. Far from caring about the harmful effects of algorithms, the social media companies and their allies stroke competitors in the press rely on them, I think, to make money. I see three main problems. First, the marketing of hatred. The case of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle forcefully makes the point. The data analyst's bot Sentinel looked at 114,000 Twitter posts about the couple since January 2020 and found two things. Firstly, that 55 accounts had been set up solely to post negative material about them, and 28 more accounts had been set up to amplify those messages. And secondly, that the Twitter algorithm, which suggests people you might want to follow, urged someone who had viewed one hate account or message to follow several others. These 83 accounts were responsible for 70% of the negative content targeted on the couple. One account posted 111,031 messages about them. Bot Sentinel reckons there are 264 single-purpose hate accounts solely targeting Harry and Meghan. To the innocent bystander, it looks like the whole world hates Harry and Meghan. No, there we are. But this is not just ordinary, spontaneous or altruistic hatred. It is deliberate and coordinated. It uses social media recommender systems to amplify hatred. Like all clickbait, it uses hatred to entice people to follow a link to an article on another client web page where money is to be made, which is how it knowingly monetizes hatred, as shown by the network of YouTube channels that notched up 497 million views and $3.48 million on the back of hateful and inaccurate material about Meghan alone. 3 YouTube channels, Yankee Wally, Murky Meg, and according to Taz, had more than 70 million views and earned $494,730, all on the back of hatred of Meghan. The same goes for UK newspapers that fill their online sites with hateful Meghan material. It is becoming their richest clickbait scene, apart perhaps from the sidebar of shame on Mail Online. It drives viewing and earns advertising income, which is why so many British opinion writers pen so much drivel about the couple, not because the story matters, it doesn't, not because the writer genuinely cares about it, they don't, but because it makes money. That is not journalism. It's a perversion of journalism. And yet again, it means that the press see other people's lives as commodities to be traded.
When you start to understand the ripple effect that can have for so many others, kind of giving men and boys permission to talk about these things.
Men are talking. They're talking in ways that make sense to them, and the world is not listening.
Publicly, the amount of friends of mine, tough guys, the speed in which they felt permission to be able to open up to me was extraordinary.
I think there's almost a little bit of a misnomer when we say there's a loneliness epidemic, because I can tell you a lot of these guys online are lonely together.
Confusion for young men at the moment is there is a very strong narrative of what not to be. You ask 1,000 young men what they think about masculinity, and the vast majority of them are going to say, you mean toxic.
What the goal should be, and I believe what the goal is to encourage the conversation to become so normal that you can just have it with your mate.
I believe that we must have a way to meld the contemporary and traditional ideas of what it means to be a man. Talking to young men and saying, we're trying to work it out too. We're going to find a way together.
Let's talk about an uncomfortable aspect of racism. Some white people who have black children, even if they've birthed them, are racist. Yeah, not all of them, but a lot of them are. A lot of them just like to fetishize black people, thinking that, you know, I am just sexually attracted to them, but I don't have to treat them as human. I sat there my whole life watching my own mother do this to my brother. And it's really unfortunate because every single time they had a fight, what word do you think she used? I'll give you a hint, it starts with an N. And she birthed this man. She birthed this man, and she treated him like he was a dog his whole life, and still continues to do so. Why do you think that he moved 2,000 miles away immediately after college and never came back. Because a lot of white people out there just like to have black children just so that they can say they have black children. But a lot of y'all don't even want to talk about it. And again, it's not every white person, but a lot of you love to do this. For example, one time I was seeing a black guy, my mom caught wind of it, and she goes, "Oh my God, I want black grandbabies so bad." I was literally just seeing this guy. That was it. And she wanted to use black grandbabies as a trophy, to be like, "I have black grandbabies. What are you talking about? These people aren't trophies. You shouldn't treat them like, oh my God, it's so taboo. Look at me. I have black family." It's not like that. They're people. And it's so more prevalent than you think it is.
Hello, my people. Lady Rosie here. How y'all doing? All my new subscribers, you're welcome. And my returning subscribers, y'all know I love you. Family, I do appreciate all of y'all. Thank you for your support, and thank you for always being there and calling these mavos out for abusing our sister, our queen, the future queen of England, Her Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex. Yep, y'all saw her out. She came out here to support her friend who lost her child. And guess what? The sister manifested emotion in public, and these people said that she was faking it. Guess what? We black people, we actually cry. We are actually emotional. We cry for real, for real. We are no narcissists. When we have those kind of pain, guess what? We will cry. We don't come there to our family's funeral to look at what y'all call out money. Okay? We don't go to family funerals or to bury our mothers or our family members to look for inheritance. Did y'all hear me? Because most of us out here were not lucky with those inheritance. And y'all guys got all money. And how y'all got all those old money? You got those old money from selling our people. Yeah, that's how y'all got all the old money. That's how y'all got all those assets. That's how y'all guys go to those funerals. You don't even cry, because guess why you go there? You go bury those family members because you want to inherit the easy money. You like everything free. Her Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex was out here working at 13. Yes, she told y'all guys what clearly. Okay? Yes. And black mothers, if they can get you do something and make you responsible at an early age, they will do it. And a lot of the other race of people, they do that with their children. They even did it with their baby kids. How old was Brooke Shield when she was out here? You know? Yeah, and Her Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex was working for her when she was 13. So, when you see a black person crying, let me go back to the square zero. We are really crying because we have pain in our hearts. We did not create that fakeness that y'all guys have around, that you guys be having around with a lack of emotion. Everything that you are behind is very intentional, and when you manifest any kind of emotion, means you just want to snitch on somebody. You want to play victim because your mind was born a victim. Your spirit was created to be a victim, when meanwhile the real person who is a victim here is a person of African descent. Yes, the person of African descent, that's the person who is the real victim of anything. It doesn't matter if they were born under the water. There's still people still were oppressed around the world. They were oppressed by your ancestors. So anytime you are crying, there is motive behind it. So that's called deflection. That's what you guys are doing. You deflecting your mafia, your lack of empathy, lack of humanity onto Her Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex. When you see us cry, we are really crying because of real emotion. We don't fake stuff. We don't sit down there and act like bully him. Bully him when I spoke with that same woman a few years ago about losing her husband. He did not even shed a tear. But in 2025, because he saw how his brother is very emotive and really loves people, manifests true emotion with his sister-in-law, Her Royal Highness Duchess Sussex, she expresses real emotion because she does have that emotion in her. She has that emotion in her DNA. Y'all don't know how our ancestors were abused. Y'all don't know what kind of trauma we carry around here. And y'all think that when we're crying, we're faking it. No, we don't. When we're crying, we're really crying for pain. And when we're thinking about lots of stuff here and everything that y'all did to our ancestors, we cry. Like I close my room and I cry sometimes for an hour when I'm thinking about what y'all did to my people. So I cried real emotion out here. That projection of your fakeness, you think that you're gonna put it on everybody, but that ain't gonna cut it. She expressed her emotion in front of everybody. She cried, and that's the truth, and that is who we are, because we really care. Y'all did not care a few minutes ago when I voted against the black lady, and right now here y'all out there calling not my king. You want us to come out there to kind of like protest with your gay guy. Y'all need to kiss my black behind. You're telling y'all, shut up. You know I need to focus on my, oh man, my mouth. My mouth be sleeping on me, Connie Bama. Cookies and cream, where you know VD, y'all come on here. My queen, Reba Anderson. Oh, this is you, fucking Joyce Anderson. Oh, my queens, I love y'all guys so much. You know, every time my mouth be sleeping, I blame it on you. Y'all just take it. There's nothing that y'all gonna do with me. Y'all can't even get rid of me. I know y'all love me. I love you back. I know. You know, these people be getting on my nerves. Those people be pissing me off. They piss their guts out of them. They piss me off most of the time with everything that they say. They project every single terrible of their behaviors on us. Damn, we're not the same. We are traumatized people out here. Traumatized by your ancestors. And therefore, the way we express emotion is way different than yours. You express emotion because guess what? I got this old money. Mama just died, and some of y'all guys be sitting down there and allow your parents because y'all guys need that old money. You know they need the inheritance. Yeah, you know, sit down there and shut up. I mean, these people be twisting my brain. Whew, them people be twisting me. Them people. Captain Kylie girl, I saw your message of congratulations yesterday. So Success Squad, let me just come clean. We got married with my hubby on 15th of September. We actually did a court marriage because guess what? There's lots of stuff that is happening out here, and we started a bunch of businesses together. And you know, you don't be starting businesses like that and then there is no that union paper. We were not ready to do all the ceremony stuff of marriage. That's why we just went in court to sign those pieces of papers, because you know all those marriages they be contract nowadays. I no make mambas. Yeah, you know, and talk about, you know, I be smart. So yes, Dan and myself are married legally, and we're gonna perform our ceremony somewhere in December. We're gonna keep you posted, and y'all guys gonna see videos out here. I love you, Success Squad, very much, and I do appreciate everything that you all do for our queen, Royal Highness Duchess of Sussex. You know, that sister, when I look at her, she just reminds me of one of my aunties looked exactly like her, and she makes me cry half the times, like the way she being treated. I don't know what it just feels like she is that my auntie, but the young version of her. She used to be mistreated in one of those families, you know. Yeah, you know, those rich families of these people, they treat people differently. You got a little block in you, they'll be so jealous, because guess what, God gave you all the beauty, and that beauty hurts them, and they try to emulate that beauty so bad, but it doesn't work for them, because guess what, they ain't got no melanin. They ain't got no melanin like from God. And you know, this black queen, she got that melanin from God, and I tell you, that beauty is out of this world. Yo guys, please go subscribe to my brother, the Notorious JTB _ 2.0. That's on TikTok, and go to Notorious JTB right here on YouTube. Let's get brother to some numbers up there, and do not forget to go to His Royal Highness Baron Success, and that's my brother Baron on our big channel out here, the Royal Success. And do not forget to go to my queen Wheezy Success, and that's Isabella Banks. Yo, go bless the sister. Let's get the sister to some big numbers. Wheezy, I haven't gotten time to stop by, because guess what, like I told you guys, I'll be building businesses around here with my hobby. We got lots of stuff going on, so we're trying to build stuff, because you know what, it is what it is. I'll talk to you guys again later, okay? Bye for now. I love you.